Medieval wood so strong it outsmarted steel, the building secret we erased. Stone castles fell, iron rusted, but some medieval wooden structures? They're still standing after 6, 7, even 8 centuries. No steel reinforcement, no concrete cores, no modern adhesives, just wood. Pressed, crushed, and transformed in a way we quietly abandoned. And that's where this story gets dangerous. Because once you understand this forgotten wood press, you start questioning everything we call advanced today. Before we go any further, do me a favor. If this kind of frontline wisdom sharpens how you see the past and the present, don't just subscribe, enlist. This channel is for people who want knowledge that actually holds up under pressure. Now let's get straight into it. Medieval builders didn't just stack timber and hope for the best. They engineered it. They understood something modern construction largely ignores. Wood gets stronger when you force it to change shape under pressure. The forgotten wood press wasn't about squeezing boards flat for convenience. It was about rearranging the internal structure of wood itself. Raw wood is full of microscopic air pockets and soft cellular gaps. That's why it bends, warps, and eventually cracks. Medieval craftsmen discovered that when timber was slowly compressed, sometimes over weeks, those air spaces collapsed. Fibers locked together, density skyrocketed. The result wasn't just harder wood, it was tougher wood. Wood that resisted splitting, wood that absorbed shock instead of shattering. This wasn't guesswork. It was battlefield knowledge applied to buildings. Siege engines smashed gates. Rams slammed beams. Builders watched what failed and what survived. Over time, they learned that pressed wood didn't behave like normal timber. It behaved more like a natural composite material. The presses themselves were brutally simple and brutally effective. Massive wooden frames, heavy stone or iron weights, screw mechanisms turned by human muscle. No rushing allowed. Pressure had to be slow, steady, relentless. Too fast and the wood cracked. Too uneven and it warped. Done right, the timber emerged darker, heavier, and eerily solid. Here's the part modern builders miss. Pressed wood didn't rely on nails to stay strong. Nails actually became a weak point. Instead, joints were cut so precisely that beams locked into each other under load. Mortise and tenon joints became pressure joints. The heavier the building, the tighter everything held. Gravity became an ally, not an enemy. That's why, medieval halls, bridges, and towers could actually flex under stress instead of just snapping. When the wind hit, when snow piled on, or when earthquakes rattled those old foundations, pressed wood absorbed energy. Stone, well, it cracked. Steel bent. But pressed timber, it endured. And there's another layer to this that rarely gets talked about. Pressing changed how wood handled moisture. Those collapsed air pockets meant there was simply less room for water to sit, less swelling, less rot. Combined with the natural oils and resins already present in the timber, pressed beams resisted decay far longer than untreated wood ever could. That's why archaeologists still pull intact wooden elements from medieval structures long after similar modern materials would have just turned to dust. What really made this system unstoppable was how it, fit into a larger construction philosophy. Medieval builders didn't separate materials into categories the way we do now. Wood wasn't temporary, it was structural. Pressed beams worked alongside stone and brick, distributing loads intelligently. When stone took compression, wood handled tension and shock. It was hybrid engineering, centuries before the term even existed. So why did we forget it? Speed killed it. Industrialization demanded faster builds, cheaper labor, and standardized parts. Steel beams could be rolled quickly. Concrete could be poured by the ton. Pressing wood properly took time, skill, patience, things factories hate. Over generations, the knowledge faded. The presses disappeared. Timber became a weak substitute instead of a primary solution. But here's the kicker. Modern tests quietly confirm what medieval builders already knew. Compressed wood can rival mild steel in strength-to-weight ratios. It resists cracking better than untreated lumber. It performs shock absorption better than many synthetic materials. And it does all this without fossil fuels, toxic binders, or complex supply chains. That's why this matters to Wisdom from the Frontline's viewers. This isn't nostalgia. It's resilience. It's the kind of knowledge that works when systems fail, when supply lines break, when modern materials become unavailable or unreliable. Pressed wood teaches a bigger lesson too. Real strength isn't always about adding more layers. Sometimes it's about removing weakness. It's about compressing chaos into order. And, letting material reach its full potential instead of forcing it into shortcuts. Medieval builders didn't call it engineering science. They called it survival. They built for centuries, not for quarterly profits. They understood that structures should age gracefully, not collapse on schedule. And if you're paying attention, you'll see this pattern repeat across history. The same mindset shows up in lost World War II survival designs, rapid shelters built in under an hour, and low-tech systems that, honestly, outperform modern smart solutions when things go sideways. Progress didn't always mean improvement. Sometimes it meant forgetting what worked too well to replace. That's why we bring these stories back. Not to cosplay the past, but really to reclaim its edge. If this kind of frontline wisdom makes you see the world a little differently, hit subscribe and share this with someone who still believes newer automatically means better. Wisdom survives pressure. Let's make sure this channel does too.